Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about a topic that I know is a difficult one for a lot of people, and that is impulse buying. I know this is something that I've struggled with personally in the past, and I know I'm not alone in this. So today I'm going to be walking through 10 steps and 10 tips that you can use to really stop impulse buying for good. There are different strategies and just methods that you can use to get out of the practice of impulse buying and to just kind of train yourself in the right way so that you can keep from doing that in the future. Before we get into them though, if we don't know each other yet, my name is Ashlynne and I make videos twice a week on this channel about minimalism and intentional living. So if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love it if you would consider hitting that red subscribe button down below. And with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about how to stop impulse buying. Let's go ahead and get into the first tip today, which is to wait 30 days for bigger purchases. Now, you'll have to decide what it means to have a bigger purchase. For some it might be $50, for some it might be $250 purchases, but really, I think a good happy medium there is about $100. If you have a big purchase that you're planning on making or that you're thinking about making, especially if you're just coming out of the cycle of impulse buying, try to wait on it for 30 days. Stick it on a wish list, come back to it every once in a while and just think, will this add value to my life? Will I actually use this? Or is this something that I would have bought impulsively that I might not have actually gotten $100 worth of value from, or whatever. So by really just sticking it on a wish list, by waiting on it, and just spending time thinking about whether or not it will actually add value, that will help you to remove the vast majority of larger impulse purchases from your life. I've been doing this myself personally for the past 2 years, and it's been pretty amazing to see just how much more intentionally I'm able to bring things into my life now that I sit on purchases, especially larger purchases, before making them. Number 2 ties really well into the last one. It's to create a wish list of the things that you're thinking about buying. And I think this one's especially important when you're talking about durable goods, so not food, not basics, but if you're looking at clothing purchases, home purchases, program purchases, anything like that, anything that's, maybe not a huge investment, but you're looking at, bringing something into your life that's going to be there for a while. Just stick it on a wish list. Consider it for a little bit of time before you bring it in. Maybe you think that there's a new pair of pants that you want to buy, and it's just like you want basic white jeans. Just stick it on there, mull over it for a bit, and just use that as a reference list when you go shopping of, okay, so these are the things that I've been considering buying, and only buy things off of that wish list. Number 3 is to start using lists. So don't only create a wish list, but start using it. Whether you're, using a shopping list for groceries or for clothing or for anything else really, by not only having a written, wish list that you have down, but actually using it and actually creating a grocery list and then actually using it. By kind of, using and sticking to those lists, you're going to be able to hugely minimize the amount of impulse purchases that you bring home. I find this one especially helpful when it comes to groceries. I'm definitely the person who will see something that looks fun and want to try it out, and then, the results are iffy on whether or not I'm actually going to end up using it long term. So have a list and stick to it. Okay, tip number 4 is to hold on tight for 24 hours. If you're thinking of buying something that isn't a consumable, just wait one day to think, is this something that it's actually going to add value? I think a lot of the impulse purchases we make aren't necessarily the huge, big ticket items, but they're those small things that just add up significantly over time. Anything you're thinking of bringing into your life that isn't a consumable, try waiting 24 hours on it. Now, I understand there are exceptions to this rule, but it's a good principle to kind of go by and really just take a little bit of time to think about your purchase before you make it. Tip number 5 is to try a shopping ban. And this is a really helpful tip for people who have really struggled with impulse shopping and really just kind of buy routinely without thinking about it. By trying to create a shopping ban and only buying, necessities for a period of 1 or 2 or even 3 months, you can really kind of train yourself out of the habit of going to buy something new every day, every week, etc. So really, I would definitely suggest this as if you've never done one before, try out a shopping ban, see what it's like to specifically and intentionally not buy anything that isn't a necessity for a period of time. and I think you'll learn a lot through that process. And I think that's one of the easiest ways to kind of like cold turkey quit impulse shopping. So definitely go ahead and give that a try. Tip number 6 is to stop browsing. And whether you're visiting online retail stores or going to the mall, there is nothing that's going to create an atmosphere of impulse shopping in your life more than putting yourself directly in that situation where impulse shopping happens. Just like you don't want an alcoholic going to a bar, as somebody who has an issue with shopping, a shopping addiction, or a desire to impulse shop, there's nothing more dangerous for you really than going to a mall and shopping online. So really, just to the extent that you possibly can, stop shopping at the mall, stop browsing at the mall, and stop going to online retail stores. Tip number 7 is to not use things as rewards. And I think a lot of times, whether it's for losing weight, getting a certain grade, doing well, an anniversary, whatever it is, I think it's a really big tendency for people to use things as rewards for recognition. But I think a lot of times this can kind of get out of hand, and a lot of times there can be some not so significant stuff that we actually use as a reward when we're really just trying to disguise our impulse shopping. So I would really just try to get out of the habit of using things as rewards. Try using experiences as rewards. By not putting as much emphasis on physical items as being a reward can definitely help stop your desire to impulse shop. Okay, number 8, this is a huge one. It's just to become aware. Whenever you recognize the desire or the feeling or the act of impulse buying, start recognizing it for what it is and calling it out. By becoming aware and really being sensitive to the fact that what you're about to do is making an impulse purchase, it's a lot easier to kind of catch yourself ahead of time or in the act, so that you're not, going home and, 2 days later regretting something that you purchased. So really just start to recognize and name impulse buying for what it is. I think this is a huge one if you're really just wanting to be able to catch it before it happens. Number 9 is to avoid using credit cards. And I think this is an interesting one because a lot of times we try to justify or just kind of minimize the fact that we made an impulse purchase by putting it on a credit card. But what you're really doing is just escalating this problem in the long run by continually putting impulse purchases on credit cards. Not only will that put you in debt, but it's also just not a healthy habit that you want to carry with you through life. So really just cut up those credit cards, start using a debit card or start using cash so that you can really feel the purchases that you're making. Especially if you're a big impulse buyer, start using cash for a period of time. It's really interesting, but when you're physically holding cash in your hand, you're a lot less willing to let it go on an impulse purchase than you are if you're just swiping a credit card. So try it using cash out for size, but at the end of the day, the important thing is just don't put it on a credit card. And finally, number 10 is to set goals and reference them. Maybe this is a savings goal or a travel goal or whatever kind of goal you want to make. Think of something that's going to motivate you. Maybe you want to save $10,000 this year. And then when you're thinking about making an impulse purchase, when you're tempted to make an impulse buy, just reflect on that list. Go back to it and say, hey, I want to save $10,000 this year. Is this shirt, is this dress worth me not being able to achieve my goal? And just kind of reflect on that and use that as kind of additional motivation to help you stay on the right track and to keep from making impulse buys. Okay guys, well I hope these 10 tips on how to stop impulse buying were helpful for you. I hope that you can implement some of them into your life and really just experience the benefits and the money savings and just the minimalism that you can experience by not making impulse purchases. Whether this is something that you've been struggling with for a while or that you're kind of in recovery over, I hope this list is helpful for you and that you found something here that you can really take home and apply to your life. If you did, let me know what the specific tip was that rung home with you. Let me know that in the comments below. I would love to hear about that. But anyways, that's everything that I have for you guys today. If you haven't already, I would love it if you would hit that little red subscribe button below so that you can watch all of the exciting upcoming videos I have planned for you guys. Also, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know that you enjoyed it. And that is everything I have for you all. I love you all so much, and I'll see you in the next video.